it's a small example. If you are okay, I'm having a pharmaceutical manufacturing company. I don't have any accreditations. I don't have a US FDA and even EDQM or even NVISA or even a PDMA or anything is there. So in the open market, if I want to sell my product, say this is my product, it fetches 100 rupees. Okay, if I follow the US FDA, my plant is US FDA to accredited plant. Means US FDA auditors has been came into my plant, they inspected, they checked my what are the standard operating procedures and what are the procedures as per their pre-described guidelines we are following.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the GB show. I'm in Hyderabad at Vasundhara Pharma Chemical Limited's office, and we are going to talk to VNS Sarma, the corporate head ITS at Vasundhara Pharma. We are going to talk in the health industry, why cybersecurity is important, why digital transformation is taking place, and what all different regulations which make the health industry more stringent about the IT controls, and what are all those controls, what are the frameworks, what are the best practices, and lot more. Stay tuned, and we are going to talk to Mr. Sarma. Let's hear him out. To start with, Sarmaji, you have been in this industry from last 24 years. You have started your career with pharma, healthcare, and then been into consulting, and now again in the healthcare when you are talking about. So, what is your role? And I would like to understand how you have seen the digital transformation taking place in the healthcare industry in last 24 years.
Okay, hi Gaurav. It's with my pleasure to meet you and can do the GB show with you. It's my aspiration to I have to do a show with you on the same platform. So it's my pleasure. Once again, I'm very thankful to you. So okay, I started my career. Actually, I'm a commerce graduate. After commerce graduate, I went to pursue my chartered accountancy course.
Okay.
I went to join the CA Institute. I did my articleship. I completed my CA intermediate. And at that time, the Y2K issue is popping up. So everybody is saying, okay, IT. So I came back to the IT. So as a commerce and arts graduate, I came to the IT and I learned the networking and I learned the VNS and even the operating system and the servers, and I did my masters. And after that, I'm a certified Microsoft Systems Administrator. And a part of that, I did my curriculum in the NIT. It's called CATS, Center for Advanced Technical Services Schools. I completed my Linux administration and advanced Linux administration. Then after that, I moved to come to the Hyderabad to see the more experience and more knowledge gaining in this IT domain. So I started my career in the Vasudha Pharma Limited, where we are sitting here.
Okay.
Here. Yeah. So I started my IT. At the time, if you can see the healthcare, there is not such a regulatory stringent norms are there. There is no that GMP is good manufacturing practices and CGMP methodologies are nothing. It's just make the manufacturing and can send it to the clients. They will accept it. Okay. After flourishing to the scenario, and majority of the regulatory bodies they started the drugs are manufactured for the human consumption. So they stringent their norms. For example, you can see the US, the Federal Drug Administration is the governing body for the healthcare domain and the United States. And similarly, you can see in the European market, it's called EDQM. Okay. If you can see the Brazilian, it's called the NVISA. Similarly, if you can see the Japanese market, it's called PMDA. They started the more new guidelines to adopt it to stringent the manufacturing practices. It comes under the umbrella of the CGMP, means Common Good Manufacturing Practices. They drafted the good guidelines and they have to be adopted to all the manufacturing of the healthcare domain. Either it may be the active pharmaceutical ingredients or even the finished doses or even it's called the formulators. At that time there is no digital transformation has been come into the face. Everybody has to write it on the paper, even in the change control, or even in the incident, or even in CAPA, or even like it's called a BMR, means batch manufacturing records. Everything should be handwritten document. They had to be transcribe the data and to the pre-described format is called the batch manufacturing record, and they have to be execute the batches. So the USFDA has been more focusing while the transcribing that information into the paper-based record, there may be the errors may be there. So there may be while transcribing the data, there may be leads to the errors.
Yeah.
It's called the data integrity. It's called a DI. In such a case of the DI, so what will happen? For example, say by 007, when we write it as a 0070 or 070, similar fashion. They were due to the hurry or even they were not more focusing on their work environment to make the errors as a human tendency. So we can't be stopped to don't make the errors. At most, giving the training to our employees or even the shop floor people, we cannot stop to make the errors. Is that?
Yeah.
So that's why the digital transformation journey has been started. Who was working on the shop floor to execute the batches, they had to be fill the BMR, it's called a batch manufacturing records. They had to be transcribe the data from the reactors and what the heating is there and many of the parameters are there and what the raw material has been charged and what the duration of the process is there. They had to be transcribe the data into the paper-based batch manufacturing record. While transcribing the data to the writing and the batch manufacturing record, there may be the majority of the chances to write the data in a wrong manner. So it is called the data integrity issues. It plays a key role in the name and fame of the organization who is manufacturing the drugs and pharma products which is exporting to the international market. To cut down the data integrity, the USFDA has been started to educate the pharma companies to move to the digital transformation to use the majority of the major applications such as it's called QAMS, means Quality Assurance Manufacturing Systems. Okay. In a sense, the QAMS, what it talks about how the functions of the quality assurance means how to initiate the change control, and if you want to be make any changes in that organization, it may be the process or it may be the equipment or it may be the route of the synthesis. They have to be evaluated. What is the existing procedure? What do you want to change? What is the impact on the product or the product quality or the patient health and efficacy? The entire system should have a trackability and traceability. So at the time of the paper-based records, it may be due to the wear and tear, the letters may not be visible, or some of the insects or the termites, the paper maybe goes wrong. So to avoid all the things, they introduced to move to the digital transformation, plays a key and pivotal role in the pharma industry. So I told the example of the QAMS for the quality assurance activities. It also talks about the change control mechanism, incident mechanism, and CAPA, corrective action and preventive action mechanism, and the internal audit mechanism. And similarly, for the quality assurance labs, the application is called the LIMS, means the Laboratory Information Management Systems. Okay. It talks about what are the raw materials is coming from the manufacturers to our factory gate. And while transferring to our warehouse, it's called a sampling mechanism is there. To take the sample, to send it to the quality assurance. As per the material, there are several pre-prescribed tests are there. Those tests has to be passed and the predefined framework. Okay. So then only it's called qualifying the material. Once the material has been passed, then the remaining what are the shipment from the vendor, it will be moved to our warehouse. Similarly, methods are there, several methods are there to test the parameters. This is not only meant for only the raw material, it's called in-process checks are there while you are manufacturing the batches. The several tests are there. It is called in-process tests. And afterwards, once the batch has been completed, the entire drug is not manufactured in a single flow. There may be the multiple stages of the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, tech and pharma. All the parameters while it's passing, they have to be under into the quality assurance parameters testing. So these all of the tests, there are several equipments such as called the GC, means gas chromatography, HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography, and auto titrators, and UV spectroscopy, ultraviolet spectroscopy. The several instruments are there to check the effectiveness of the quality of the product it's manufactured. Why you have to meet the quality? Means the entire ecosystems are built under the QBD principles, quality by design.
Okay.
Since at the end of the time, the drug substance is taken by the human, you have to be interested in the quality of the, because is there any the deviations has came, it directly impacts the patient health and efficacy.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's why the US FDA 21 the Federal Drug Administration, they drafted the stringent guidelines. So they frame the guidelines is all of the world who are manufacturing that pharma or even in active pharmaceutical ingredients or healthcare products or even in the equipments to use for the laboratory purposes. For example, many labs are there, so they have to be follow their guidelines and norms to entrust the quality as the highest pivotal role in this domain.
If I talk about IT systems in quality by design, what all things they have that these IT systems need to take care of?
Okay, I will say there are several IT systems were deployed in the manufacturing quality control lab. It's called analytical lab.
Okay.
There may be the two sections are there. One is called wet analysis, second is called analytical analysis. In that analytical analysis, we classify to the majority of the instruments which we are using to test the quality parameters. Earlier I told the GC systems and HPLC systems and the auto titrators and the UV and polarimeters and water analysis equipments are there, the hard disk testers. So there are integrated application is available, as a software application is available and the hardware instruments also available. It is integration of the hardware instrument along with that application which we have to perform the analysis to entrust the quality, and it's called the GAMP guidelines. It comes under into this picture. What is the meaning of the GAMP 5? Good Automated Manufacturing Practices 5.
Okay.
So we are doing any analysis and it has to meet the requirement of the GAMP 5 recommendations, and had to be undergo to the qualification of that GAMP 5 procedures. There may be classified as a IQ means installation qualification, and OQ operational qualification, and PQ means performance qualification, and you have to be interested. The framework is called the CSV framework. It's called a computer system validation. To perform the computer system validation, and the user department has to be raise the URS. It's called a user requirement specifications. And once the URS has been framed, and it has to be sent it to the vendors and have to be qualified the vendor to entrust to their product has been equally quality as per our intended use under the quality control analytical lab as per our requirements to meet the US FDA stringent frameworks and standards.
Okay.
And then the technical document called the design qualification. It's called a design specification. The vendor it will give us. After that, FRS means functional required specifications will come into the picture. Then after that, we'll place by the meantime, we'll place a purchase order, the equipment will come into our site. Then we call the IQ, installation qualification. I had to perform for IQ for the
equipment separately and the connected system separately. And,
Okay.
and while you are installing the application on that computer system, you have to perform the installation qualification of the application. Then operational qualification comes into the picture. Once the IQ report has been generated, then it moves to the operational qualification. In a sense, you have to be created test users. In the pharma, everything is framework has been defined under there's a framework is called US FDA 21 CFR. What 21 CFR talks about the electronic records and electronic signatures, and every user should have the unique username and password, and any data has been created, and the digital data has been created, and it should not be modified, it should not be editable, and it should not be deletable. And the backup and the archival function should be enabled to that application, and audit trail should be enabled to that particular application. And is there any database which we are using, it should be encrypted format, should be available. In a sense, why audit trail plays a pivotal role under things. Any activity who is performed to identify the which person has performed the what activity, to identify the audit trail has been enabled. Means, for example, myself, I am login into the system as an analyst. I log into the analyst. In the audit trail, the employee ID of the 13976 is a permissions has been provided as an analyst. He logged into the systems, and afterwards I loaded a sample, and he can able to perform the what are the as per the job roles and what are the permissions who have been provided in the administrative controls to perform the analyst job responsibilities only. It is enabled in that particular role. It's called the role-based access.
Okay.
Okay, once his analysis has been completed, and who is the second approval, and he has to be evaluate the persons what have performed the analysis is as per the intended quality parameters or not, the results is properly as per the predefined parameters, then he say approve. And in the pharma industry, there should be two approvals will be there, because to cross check because it's a highly controlled environment, and then again it goes to the second approval.
That's where the due diligence comes.
The due diligence.
Yeah.
Okay, he also there may be we have to be nullify the chances of the negligence or even in the errors. So that's why, and once the second approval has been completed, then it goes to the HOD, who is the head of the department of the quality control. Then he has to be checked and has to be released that batch. Then the document is called a COA, Certificate of Analysis. It has been prepared. Then it's sent to the if it is a finished product, it goes to the finished product. The similar fashion. If it is a raw material, then it goes to the warehouse.
Yeah.
So here the computer system and the computer system validation and the IT plays a key function roles in the manufacturing or even the QC equipments in the pharma industry.
Okay. So you mentioned these regulations, so mainly US, UK and Brazil. So one thing which I will like to know, are there any Indian guidelines or regulations? And second, out of these regulations, you said these are very stringent.
Right.
What kind of things they are, let's say if someone is not following or fail to follow, what kind of penalties or, things has been defined in these regulations, why they make so typically so strong? Yeah.
So I will say a small example. If you are I'm having a pharmaceutical manufacturing company, I don't have any accreditations. I don't have a US FDA and even EDQM or even NVISA or even a PDMA or anything is there. So in the open market, if I want to sell my product, say this is my product, it fetches 100 rupees. Okay, if I follow the US FDA, my plant is US FDA to accredited plant, means US FDA auditors has been came into my plant, they inspected, they checked my what are the standard operating procedures and what are the procedures as per their pre-described guidelines we are following. So after my plant has been accredited by the US FDA, and in such a case, I can able to be sell the same product for 1,000 rupees. This is the impact.
So one is of course cost perspective, but
cost perspective.
To work in Indian market, is it mandatory to follow these accreditation or have these regulations, or I can go without that as well?
Okay, I will tell. So if you want to flourish the Indian market, now the Indian FDA also be more stringent than the, if you can compare to the past 15 to 20 years. Okay, it also be equivalent. The norms and the frameworks has been designed and it is forcibly following to the Indian companies to maintain the same stringent and regulatory parameters. And if you can consider the even in the pollution control board also, previously they gave the only certification on the paper. Now what they're doing, every company has to be install the PTZ cameras and the flow meters and the data loggers and what are the effluent it is generating per day, what is the flow is there. It is online connectivity to the TSPCB or even the Central Pollution Control Board. They're directly monitoring our organization, how the more pollution are as per the stringent norms they are maintaining or not. So if you are violating such a norms or we are not maintaining those regulatory bodies and the factory governance, they may be give a shutdown notice to you. So it had to be hit it or crooked, had to be follow those stringent regulatory parameters and norms.
Fair enough. And you were enforcing or talking more about data integrity, why it is important in the healthcare space, right? So what all other cybersecurity or data related issues, if I talk about the security says healthcare, what all critical issues are there in the space of data and cybersecurity or manufacturing?
Okay, it's a good question. Okay, I can able to be more emphasis on the very recent attacks since the 5 to 10 years. Majority of the cyber attacks are prone into the number one banking sector and second is healthcare sector only. If you can do a framework or do the analysis, these two domains are the more impacted domains from the cyber attackers only. Okay, I can say the if you can see the financial and banking sector, there are also more stringent norms or rules are framed. And by technology way, the banking sector is a more quick to adopt the new technology because the people's money is involved in that. So that's why they don't want to take a chance to upgrade their systems and upgrade their cybersecurity front to do the to deploy the EDR or even the XDR in the micro-segmentation or even the SOC services or the SIM services or data analysis services, what are the, if you can see any fancy terms, though they are ready to implement and they are more welcoming the recommendations by the regulatory authorities or the even the cybersecurity frameworks to perform the risk assessment and the gap assessment and what are the identification of the gap, they will fill it. Similarly, if you can see the healthcare domain, it is also equivalently regulated environment. And here adoption is a very late because they don't want to be adopted. Because why I say that they don't want to adopt the techniques to upgrade their existing systems. I will give you an example. If you can see the quality control lab or even in the production systems, still some of the companies are using the Windows 7 prone systems are there. Even in the Microsoft has been declared that it is the obsolete operating system. It is a more prone to the cyber attackers because they're not having. They may be the two considerations are there. Number one consideration, if they want to be upgrade from Windows 7 to the latest Windows 10 operating system. If you can see the perspective of a computer, it does not cost of 40,000 to 50,000 bucks. It is not the criteria. Which application which you are involved in that to connected to that systems and which are lead to the manufacturing process. At the time that the supplier is named, they did not upgrade their application from Windows 7 or a legacy system to the latest one. So if they in the market, it is already available. It's a more cost oriented. Some of the SMEs or even the mid-side segment of the firms, they may not invest the crores of rupees to invest to upgradation this thing. So due to this respective things, in the pharma, what are the recommendations by the governing body are to upfront the cybersecurity measures. They are not taking two consideration. There may be the financial impact are there, these things, and apart of that, very after the COVID, majority of the pharma companies, they realized previously the IT is not a service department. It plays a pivotal role to safeguard their data and entrust the data. And majority of our counterparts are from to whom we are exporting the clients. They are also more emphasizing and asking the how you are safeguarding the clientele's data. It's called third party data, and how your incident response mechanism is there, how your GDPR compliance or HIPAA compliance, how you are interested to safeguard about the customer's data, or even your IP rights. So they are more emphasizing on those environment, and majority of the pharma companies also, they equally upgrading their technologies to upfront to defend the cybersecurity posture. They're also evaluating the CMA and VAPT assessments, means cyber maturity assessment and vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, and they're identifying their gaps, and according to the gap identification, they're filling these things. Because previously the entire the network is the only open network. Now the scenario has been changed. They understand to implement what is the advantage of the micro segmentation, and what the advantage of the VPN connectivity, and the advantage of the virtual VLAN connectivity. Because if you can do the VLAN and the micro segmentation, is anything attack has been, it is limited to particular segment only. It's not expanding to the entire plant. All of the data and all of the users are not more impacted. They're also understanding to upgrade their normal signature based antivirus to the XDR or EDR. And apart of that, they don't understand to implement the multi-factor authentication. They deploy the new technologies to the pharma domain.
So means pharma companies are open up to
they've opened the eyes and to welcoming the new technologies to implement, to make the adaptabilities there. Their mindset also changed.
Okay, fair enough. So what you guys are doing to educate your people, and so that, because it's again an ecosystem where you need to tell them that this is something which they should not be doing, right? So what you are doing in that space?
Yes, if you can consider the healthcare domain attacks, the many majority of the pharma companies has attacked and by the ransomware and even in the cyber attacks. Or if you can see the any big organization that attackers has been attacked, and nowadays you can see the mid-sized segment of the companies also be attacked by the ransomware. So with that help of to project the thing into our management also, they understand the interested the importance of to improve our security culture and even in the employee culture also. So we are already providing the training to the employees how to tackle the phishing mails, and how to understand which link is a genuine link or which is not a genuine link. And many attackers are trying to oversmart, they're sending the mails to pretending that it is come from the local HR or even a CMD is transmitting that mail to communicate to this. So in such a case, we are also doing the evaluation camps and training camps to the employees to how to inspect the stealthful mail, how to check the genuinity of that mail has been transmitted. And similarly, how to tackle the links or what are the WhatsApp messages or even in comes under things, how to safeguard your things. Here the majority of the user base, they're keeping the same password for the work environment and the home environment, even their personals also. Same password is there. If anything, one chance the password has been compromised, so it can't able to be think the impact of the either it may be the financial loss may be there, even the reputation will be there. So we are providing the rigorous training to the peoples in the open form, or even think we're inculcating educating them.
Okay, and that is where I think the other ransomwares or other incidents has made
Yeah.
your work easy. So when we talk about these attacks, so anything in India or outside where you have learned something, or maybe any incidents, after seeing that, we will just check that, okay, will this be, my company is prone to those kind of incidents or not, then we do more audits or something. But any incidents or any cyber attacks in the healthcare industry you would like to highlight, which has opened up the eyes and have made the stakeholders of the pharma companies, or make your job easy to convince them for next financial year budgets and all. Any incidents or worldwide or in India specifically, where I want you to highlight some of the attacks and how those attacks and their case studies helping you to fetch more budgets from the your senior management or stakeholders.
Okay, sir, you can see the attacker's perspective. The majority of the major pharma giants has been attacked by the cybersecurity and even the ransomware. For example, you can see the Dr. Reddy's and the Sun Pharma, and you can see the AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, has been attacked, more attacked. So you can throw a focus of the. It is not a big organization or a small organization. Attackers has been the intended to steal the data and they give them more reputation companies. So that's why we emphasize to our management to allocate the budgets to upgrade our existing systems, such as the firewalls or whatever it may be, or even in the to introduce the new technologies such as the multi-factor authentication and such as the IAM and PIM and PAM solutions, and same we have to go for the SIM and SOC solutions, and to upgrade from the traditional signature-based antivirus application to wind it up and to introduce the newly latest the artificial intelligence and machine learning compatible the EDR and XDR applications into our company premises. So it plays a give a more challenging and to entrust our entire the data safety and our intellectual property safety. Also we focus to our management, and they're also allocate the more budgets to cybersecurity awareness to upgrade the and what are the existing things are there to upgrade to the new technologies domain.
Fair enough. So thank you, Sarma. So also you in healthcare industry, there are different techniques in the manufacturing side to test your computers and maintain and safeguard them from the different type of attacks. If you would like to highlight some of them as well, which are specialized and only for health industries.
Okay, my answer is in this frame. Okay, to the more testing part in the pharma segment. So the CSV, computer system validation, plays a crucial role. And
computer system validation.
Okay. Previously, the CSV is performed either manually. Means you had to write the test scripts and to anticipate what is the test script and what is the test to have to be performed, and what is the end result, and what is the second test, what is the end result, what is the third test, what is the end result. And very recently, due to the digital transformation, the qualification of the computer system validation is already automated. So to introduce the new technologies into the CSV platform, and you can able to be save time and save the cost and save the human error prone, and more effectively you can complete the computer system validation. Thing. And second part, if you can consider to implement and integrate the industry 4.0 in the manufacturing practices. What the industry 4.0 talks about? It talks about the IoT devices, and it talks about the data loggers, and it also talks about the PLCs and the SCADA systems, and those all are independently, and it captures the data. And it is having a mechanism, it can communicate and it can collaborate to the data together and brings into the common platform to generate the artificial with the help of the AI, and it shows the complete dashboard mechanism. So how the dashboard mechanism, it can help and it can reduce the cost and it can increase the production, it can increase the productivity and your cost effectiveness. For example, if you can see the maintenance of any equipment in the shop floor, so there will be classified as a monthly maintenance, weekly maintenance, preventive maintenance schedule. It will be predefined. So they have to be as per the run hours, or maybe the time they have to be perform the preventive maintenance. Here, with the help of using the artificial intelligence and the IoTs has been integrated, though it checks the past history and parameters of the equipment behavior. With that behavior, it predicts. So as on this bearing is going to be variable. You have to be change this particular bearing in this section. It gives the alert before the bearing has been breakdown. So with the help of that, you can able to be keep what are the required space in the our stores, and your cash flow will be minimized because we are not purchasing the unnecessarily raw materials to make the safeguard to dump your warehouse. So there the cost cutting is there, and a part of that it's also showcasing the what are the equipment, for which equipment, and what are the activity you have to be performed, and you can able to be prepared checklist for that. And it also be help the who is performer and who is a doer and who is a checker. It also saves that time, because that if you open that equipment and it had to be find it which is a faulty part, there the time consumption is there. So with the help of this introducing the industry 4.0 and IoTs, and you can more effectively utilize that particular equipment, and it also the cost will be reduced and your productivity also increase. Same the profit will increase.
Okay, Sharmaji, it was quite good and nice talking to you. I've learned a lot today about the health industry. So my last question for you will be like, you mentioned there are many attacks happening in the Indian industry as well, like, Sun Pharma, we have talked about the Dr. Reddy's, AIMS, so everywhere. So one, why these attacks are happening more in the health industry, where the health industry is getting failed? We have learned a few of the lessons from you as well, because why upgradation, or now all this new jazzy word or the technologies are being getting implemented. But if any CISOs or any CIO who is watching you right now from the health perspective, what are the best practices you will like to share with them, so that they put those controls in their organization, so that they are pretty much safeguarded, and what kind of things they can do to ensure that the security is up to mark? So my audience is all yours.
Okay, welcome to the audience, and my answer is like this. Okay, if you can consider any organization, they deployed the majority of they deployed the firewall, they deployed the antivirus, they deployed the VLAN segmentation, and they deployed the most secure network. But where the problem lies and why attackers are more prone into the organization segment, they are missing some of the key interface and to be integrated such elements into to consider this thing. Okay, everyone will think, okay, I deployed the firewall, I created the hardness of the rules. So that is not only the sufficient. And okay, if you create a firewall rule from outside, nothing had to become inside. Okay, and internally you can open all to any policy, such a thing. It's a more give critical impact to the when any attacker has been entered into the internal LAN. Because there you have to be restricted to the port-based access. For example, if any application is there, it talks the particular port only, and you have to restrict all the ports, and you have to be enable particular port. Then only you can stringent the cybersecurity footprint. You can secure your environment, because in such case, how the attackers will be observe your system. They first they'll peep into the one of your mobile assets, such as a laptop or whatever it may be, which is the password is more predictive. After they will catch predictive password, they'll enter into that system. They will monitor for 2 months or 3 months. They will understand what is your architecture and how is your internal policy rules are there. is there any to any or is it enabled or only the port based access is enabled, they will see. So, and there are many tools are available to the attackers. They can see the host name or even in the what is the IP systems and it is belongs to which department system. And until unless you do the micro segmentation in the network segmentation, such as for example, such as the VLAN creation and micro segmentation is then created, then only you can curtail the expansion of the attack from to the entire plant. If you can see, for example, the granules, okay, the entire plant has been attacked. So because after that they learn to do the micro segmentation and the virtual LAN creation and the role-based access, and for the application purpose also only port-based access they provided. So with these steps, and we can able to be minimize the attacking response, or even you can safeguard your entire the data, such things. And secondly, and I want to be emphasize that, and you have to be strictly draft your what is your incident response mechanism, and any incident has been identified, what is the response time and what are the remedial measures you are going to be taken, and what is your DR plan, disaster recovery plan. A part of the DR plan, and you have to be draft a BCP plan properly, in the sense business continuity plan, and what are the critical systems you are affected, and how quickly you can able to be resume your business operations. So this is the more pivotal role to entrust and safeguard from the cyber attackers.
Thank you, Sharma ji. I think amazing learnings and great insights.
Yeah.
I will like to give you a hamper. You deserve it. You have answered all the questions amazingly well. So thank you for being on the GB show.
Yeah.
And it was nice talking to you. I'll see you next week, same time. Till then, take care. Be cyber safe. Bye bye.
Thank you, Gaurav.